Energy, naturally powered better life. The energy mentors power the community competition. So for the site assessment, we chose this place, which is El Asmarat City, Phase 3 of El Muqattam district in Cairo Governorate. We chose this site to provide a decent life and safe housing for citizens who previously resided in informal settlements funded by the government. Housing. We chose a place that has 124 buildings, each with 10 floors and 60 residential total apartments, 62 to 65 acres in land, and was finished at 2020. And now for the site challenges, citizens faced a dissatisfaction with costs. 92% of residents struggle with high rent and utility bills, and 84% can't find stable jobs locally. So they have to travel, as you can see in the map, dozens and few kilometers, which costs them transportation costs and a burden, of course, to travel to their former workplaces. And there is also a livestock ban. So no raising birds or livestock is allowed. So people have lost their source of income, and daily logistics crammed units with little storage, as well as educational infrastructure. Only 2 schools exist in phase 1, 2, and 3. And the schools host a total population of 18,000 units, each averaging 2 children. That's more than 36,000 children in just 2 schools. With the loss of capital, social capital, the high raise of design of El Asmara 3 has caused spatial estrangement and intense police activity, frequent patrol, rising crimes, adequate passive design, and waste management issues, frequent garbage, unsanitary conditions, and surveys conducted by the UN settlements show that it is true. Power sources that are not renewable energy and insufficient cooling, high reliance on traditional energy-intensive HVAC systems, and hot climate problems. So poor thermal performance is also one of the main problems. And now going into the detailed breakdown of living costs, we have water, natural gas, electricity in the summer, totaling to about 8,978 of fixed costs, including transportation, health insurance, educational fees, leaving only about 1,367 Egyptian pounds left for the family to survive, which is not sufficient for them to survive at all, especially with emergency situations. This is considering a net month salary of 11K, the average salary of a nurse and a high school teacher. And now for the financial flowchart, we can find here that it explains what we had just previously said. And now here we have the appliance/equipment load per day estimated. And here we have the problem statement of Al Asmara having only 2 schools, which only supports students from 2 nearby communities. With more than 18,000 units and more than 36,000 children, we have to propose a solution. Since most households have access to television, recorded content is more inclusive option for students with limited internet access. Volunteer teachers could prepare lessons on weekends with incentive bonuses, and recordings could be distributed on flash drives by age groups. To further reduce overcrowding, students could rotate between home learning and in-person attendance on a weekly basis. And now for the alternative energy solutions, we analyzed wind energy feasibility, and we found that it was not feasible due to multiple factors such as wind speed and power density constraints. For the directional predictability and seasonal variance and urban canopy and turbulence factors, we will determine it as economically unviable. And now for the final energy feasibility study, we have geothermal energy being high in initial construction costs, biomass energy being impractical because transporting and storing bulky agricultural waste in a high-density urban area is a logistical nightmare. Concentrating solar power is high cost and only for large-scale projects. Photovoltaics does not maximize the value per meter square. However, agrivoltaic rooftop energy does.
Hydropower and CHP biogas. Hydropower feasibility. Traditional hydroelectric power generation, VIA, the Nile River, is technically, economically non-feasible for the Asmarat Phase 3 settlement. However, greywater hydropower, GWHP, is only viable hydro resource for the urban environment. Combined heat and power biogas plant feasibility. A centralized combined heat and power CHP biogas plant would be a highly feasible solution, converting the community's organic and sewage waste to resources. Proposed self-sustaining system summary. The proposal presents a modular, low maintenance, and cost-effective self-sustaining system for dense, low-income community. Because rainfall is limited, it does not depend on rainwater harvesting. Instead, it uses greywater hydropower to recover energy from greywater in building pipes to support stair lighting, security cameras, and greywater treatment controls. We have two categories of systems. Category 1 is the greywater hydropower, and Category 2, black water to sewage to biogas to irrigation of land gardens. Objectives. These are the objectives. Number 1 is providing cheaper energy bills, overall bills. Number 2, enhance security within the building. Number 3, decrease the theft and vandalism. Number 4, lower pressure in sewage water. Number 5 is less carbon emission. Number 6 is finding local job opportunities for all the residents. Number 7 is lowering temperature inside homes, reducing the use of HVAC system, providing 24/7 localized power for critical community infrastructure, lighting, security mainly. Number 9, an energy recovery WEF nexus, a self-sustaining low-cost closed-loop system. Number 10 is building entirely on with commercial off-the-shelf COTS parts. And number 11 is higher crop yield due to partial shade of shades-attracted plants, mainly. Okay, so here is all the Category 1 components, detailed breakdown and cost estimate. Same here goes for water treatment distribution, rooftop agriculture infrastructure. And here is the Category 1 process. Phase 1, hybrid greywater recycling and hydraulic energy recovery. Greywaters from floor 5 to 10, separated from black water, pre-filtered through grease traps and lint filters, and collected in the 5th floor utility. Phase 2, self-powered treatment and vertical distribution. When the tanks reach capacity, a centralized controller releases a regulated discharge through an industrial solenoid valve, creating controlled energy harvesting cycles. And that's a picture for showing everything. Phase 3, photovoltaic generation and microgrid governance. Treated water is pumped by a DC surface lifting pump to 4,000-liter rooftop storage tanks for toilet flushing and rooftop irrigation. Is the Category 1 process. Phase 4, agrivoltaic productivity and structural safety. The final stage is 480 meters squared, rooftop agricultural zone. Phase 5, operations, maintenance, and centralized logic. A central controller synchronizes sensor data, valve timing, and energy flows to coordinates. Greywater hydropower discharge. UV sterilization and lift pumping efficiently. Routine maintenance protocol. It's monthly, quarterly, annually replacement. And that's a figure that shows everything for the 5 phases we have discussed.
Now for the rooftop agrivoltaic layout, its purpose is to run the water pump and lower electricity costs, water, food bills, and create shade for crops such as potatoes, tomatoes, and fava beans. And now for the greywater hydropower energy, it will be used as an energy recovery system, not a financial source of income, hence its low daily energy, which is why it will be powering the sensors and other subsystem categories. And it'll be and for the water recycling, the treatment subsystem will be collecting everything with these components as shown. And for the toilet flushing and rooftop irrigation, these are the statistics laying down below, with the payback period being 6.59 years and 620 jobs provided for the community. That is roughly an 8.3% increase for jobs in the entire community. And now for the risks and mitigations, the system failure and auto risks. If the microgrid fails, the aeration stops. It can turn septic within 24 hours and cause odor problems. To prevent this, we have provided cautionary measures. And now for the policy alignment and scalability, we have a system that supports the Egypt Vision of 2030 and Hayya Karima initiative by improving affordable housing through green infrastructure. Replicable and scalable. This system is modular, simple, and low maintenance. It can be replicated in other communities, especially in dense high-rise buildings. And now for the Category 2 process overview. The black water is directed from sewage network to the combined heat and power biogas plant, providing fertilizer, energy, job opportunities, and non-potable irrigation water. It is used as a financial stream for the community and for the project capital investment. Now, for the category 2 process steps, we have the pretreatment, biological primary, aerobic polishing, tertiary refining, and gas processing. We then have a list of all the components with the annual operational costs of 3.4 million Egyptian pounds and 79.2 million in capital investment. And we have the equations with the financial benchmarks being an ROI of 22.5% per annum, a carbon amendment cost being in negative since we make money and profit from carbon dioxide, and a revenue diversity measuring from water and fertilizer costs. And then we have the potential risks with their included mitigations, the layouts and schematics of the entire biogas plant, and the logistics and destinations and the control methods with the policy alignments in Egypt and the potential funding entities. And now we have the benchmarks of the entire system with the utility impact. So the entire system has a total system capital investment of 265 million Egyptian pounds, with a net annual benefit of 46 million Egyptian pounds, with a total system payback period of 5.75 years. The system total ROI is 17.38 annum, and the jobs created is 640 jobs, with the total energy yield being a staggering almost 9 million kilowatts. And with the household utility impact, we have reduced the baseline summer utility costs from 757 Egyptian pounds to 396 Egyptian pounds per month, a reduction directly being 48%. It has psychological effects on citizens as well as blackout security, since that happens often in Egypt, with the cultural and nutrition sovereignty and the organic social security and economic stability. We have a self-funded garbage initiative, which provides 50 local jobs with steady incomes for the youth. And we have educational infrastructure optimization strategy, which we have previously discussed. And the cost impact and key advantage of it is that it is much more cheaper than building a second school with the same effectiveness and built for low cost community built systems. And now we have the main implementation phases. For the phase 1, we have planning, financing, and site preparation. And for phase 2, after we have secured 2 billion Egyptian pounds in total investment from other foundations in Egypt, we'll be starting the core infrastructure development within year 1 and 2. And for phase 3, will be superstructure and service construction of our biogas plant and every other single site on the parameters. And for the fourth phase, we have relocation and commissioning and social integration, including the JWHP, which is our greywater hydropower system. The community layout is as seen below. We have the location of every site in the community along with how the biogas plant would look like. We have a detailed floor layout for each one of the 10 floors per building, and we have a detailed roof layout for how it would look like, and we have the detailed apartment layout with the layouts and schematics and a video included next to the presentation with the deliverables. We have a standard building construction analysis as seen below, and we have security integration with cameras as well. So, why should citizens move here? The income pressure, only 1.2K remains from the 11,000 salary spent on basic essential survival needs. And a huge part of our solar and greywater hydropower shields residents from 70% increase in electricity prices gradually being implemented in Egypt by 2030, and transport savings of providing 644 local jobs, which reduce and eliminate 2,400 Egyptian pounds per month of commuting costs, lowering living costs, and cutting food and utilities by 15 to 20%. This sustainable shift not only changes our state from a survival state to a more manageable financial margin, but rather a more comfortable lifestyle. And it is structurally safe, risk assessed, and economically viable for low cost projects. And now for our future vision, we envision ourselves scaling this to wider projects being currently implemented or are being planned to be implemented in the future in Egypt. We have future policies we advocate in changing or implementing. And that is all for today. The references are cited in the report and the equations have been simulated on MATLAB and respected softwares.